Over the last few weeks, there have been tons of 2027 LEGO Star Wars rumors circulating around the internet, so I'm going to try and make it simple and easy and recap and go over every single rumor in this video. First of all, with 2027 being the 50th anniversary of Star Wars, we will be seeing some concept art minifigures distributed in some sets, as well as mini movie posters. The mini movie posters will be Legoized forms of the Star Wars posters printed out on 6x8 tiles. Currently, it is not known where all of these are, but as I go through the sets, I'll mention that if the set contains one. Starting out with the January 1st wave, first up we have a Slave 1 polybag. Not much to say about this, but it is not yet known if the Slave 1 is either going to be Boba's or Jango's. Next up for 15 bucks, we got X-Wing Microfighter. Not much to say here, but hopefully we get a nice Pilot Luke minifigure. Following that, we have Anakin's Jedi Starfighter. Unfortunately, this set is only rumored to contain 2 figures instead of 3 like we saw in the Obi-Wan Starfighter a few years back. Definitely a missed opportunity, but hopefully there's a cool Clone Wars Anakin in this set and should be solid. One that I'm pretty excited about for $40, we have the Mustafar Duel. This set has now been rumored that it will be a diorama, including both Anakin and Obi-Wan, as well as our first concept art minifigure being Han Solo. Really curious to see what scene exactly from Mustafar they plan on doing with this one, but the quote is, "You were the chosen one," so it should be cool. So hopefully it isn't too small or anything, and it's just a nice display piece. For $30, this one stings, being an Endor battle pack. This isn't one of the super battle packs that we know of yet. It is only supposed to include 4 minifigures, being a Stormtrooper, Scout Trooper, and 2 Endor Rebels, which all are solid minifigures, but for $30, I mean, this set better have a big build to make up for it, because $30 for a battle pack is ridiculous. Followed by that, for $60, we have the Darth Vader art. We saw something very similar a few years ago with the Sith art, and I assume it will be akin to that. This set also will include the Episode 5 mini movie poster. One that I'm pretty excited for $80 is an original trilogy Y-Wing. Feels like it's been a while since we got one of these, and I really like the Y-Wing as a ship. Very clean. This set is said to include an astromech droid, 2 pilots, and Leia. In contrast to the Mustafar Duel, we have the Bespin Duel, which is said to be a playset, as we saw the diorama a few years ago. It's said to include Luke and Darth Vader, as well as concept art Darth Vader, which I'm really curious to see how these concept figures are going to look. And hopefully it will include a little more than it did in the diorama set, where it just had like the little platform that Luke walks out on. One of the least exciting sets in my opinion is the upscale Luke pilot minifigure. Personally, just not a big fan of these, but it should pair well with the Darth Vader. And for the final, and I think most interesting set of the January wave, is the concept art Stormtrooper helmet. Nice to see that they are still going strong with the helmets, even though there's only one this year. It's said to include the Rogue One mini movie poster, and I mean, yeah, not much more to say, but really curious to see what they do with this one. Moving into our April 1st wave, we have the Star Wars A New Hope poster. It is not yet confirmed if this will be one of the stud pictures, like I think the Darth Vader will be, or if it'll be brick built, but the A New Hope posters look pretty cool, and I mean, I think there's a good chance for this to be a really cool looking poster. It also does include its mini counterpart of the poster, just in its smaller form. Now for one of the most exciting sets in my opinion, we have the behind the scenes Tatooine George Lucas tribute. This set is said to be a diorama of the filming of the scenes on A New Hope. Included are supposed to be Luke's land speeder with mirrors on the ground, like how they filmed it in the movie, as well as additionally 1 or 2 moisture vaporators. For minifigures, it's said to include Luke, Obi-Wan, both C-3PO and R2, as well as a George Lucas minifigure, which a lot of people have been wanting for a new time. But interestingly, I believe it probably will be the younger George Lucas, even though I've heard people talking about how they want an older George Lucas, but maybe that'll come in the future. Really just hard to say at this point. George Lucas is also supposed to come with a director's chair, and now for the other 2 minifigures, it's 2 of his crew, one of them being a cameraman, and the other one being a boom mic operator. I really hope it's this guy, the pink shorts guy. Would be pretty funny. And shout out the guy that commented that on one of my shorts earlier this week. Also coming in April, we have another very unique, interesting sounding set, being a minifigure vignette, including Darth Vader, Luke, and Leia. Not really sure what the vignette part entails, but apparently there's supposed to be a Falcon, X-Wing, Death Star, and TIE Fighter, like, in the background. I assume something like this, like, maybe, like, 3 dioramas pushed together, but really not sure yet. I think this is one of the sets I'm most excited to see pictures of because it's hard to like imagine. And the minifigure vignette also includes the C-3PO, which I think will be really interesting. I hope they give him a new head mold for the concept art version of his figure. That is followed by, I think, the strangest set so far, being like a Star Wars movie theater. The description says it's a Chinese style movie theater with like Star Wars fans lined out outside. It said it will include both the Phantom Menace and New Hope movie posters, which are interchangeably swapped in the movie theater. But the movie theater is supposed to include 2 like movie theater workers, 4 other Star Wars fans, as well as 3 cosplayers, being a Jedi, Stormtrooper, and C-3PO cosplay. And finally, for the May 4th UCS set, which should be releasing on May 1st, we have Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. Definitely a much needed remake, but at the same time, I feel like it's a little boring. I mean, we've seen what they can do with the UCS sets, and I'm sure it will look great, but personally don't really care about it that much. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Finally, here's some other notable sets that we heard talks of earlier in this year that just I haven't really heard about and aren't rumored at the beginning of 2027 or for the rest of 2026. So not entirely sure like if they're not coming out or if it'll just be like later in 2027. But we got an Ewok Village. Really want to see a remake of that. That would be very cool. Episode 2, Bounty Hunter Pursuit. Definitely very highly fan requested, and I think this would be a great remake. Would love to get a new Zam Wessel figure. 2 Smart Play sets, being an Ewok Attack set and a Hoth base set. I mean, I don't think anybody really cares about those. And then finally, the Star Wars mini movie posters set. But I'm a little bit confused by this one because I'm not sure if it'll be its own separate set or if this was just rumored before we knew that there were going to be mini movie posters like sprinkled out in a bunch of different sets. But please let me know down in the comments if you think there's anything that I forgot or if you have any opinions about these sets. Please subscribe to stay in the loop about all of the latest leaks and rumors. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.